um, first responders, men and women that are on the front lines every day, in some cases, very, very challenged environment. Please bow your heads. Thank you. First appointment, 6:30, joint meeting with the planning board. Welcome, planning board.
Hello, can you see us?
Yeah?
Hear us? Okay, very good. This is gonna work then.
Okay, the first thing I need to do is call the meeting of the planning board, and I need to take a roll call. Margaret Sweet?
Here.
John Souza?
Present.
Steve Mello? Steve Taylor?
I'm here.
Kevin Mello?
Present.
Lori Miller? We're all present. We have a quorum. We can continue the meeting. Okay, Stanley, go ahead.
No, I guess it's, this is your joint meeting. You're gonna go over the articles for spring town meeting warrant?
Yes.
Correct. So we have Article A, which is the Aquifer Protection Overlay District article. And basically, this article was sponsored by the planning board at the request of Dave Hickox, the director of Department of Public Works, per the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. DPW had applied for a review of the technical review of the Dartmouth Department of Works Water Management Act permit amendment application. So this came from that, and one of the requirements of that particular review was to update the Aquifer Protection Overlay District map. So I am going to show you the map. Can you all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Peter and I from DCTV have been working on this all day today because I'm a little slow here making sure I understand it. But basically, a few of the wells in the Violetta portion, which I'm going to take my icon to over in this area, had to be adjusted slightly. So as a result, we kind of went through the entire map, made sure that everything was correct, that it matched the that it matched the bylaw. And then in doing that, we also went through to in order to change the map, we have to change the reference to the map within the overlay district. And basically, so then we went through the entire district and just made sure that everything had the correct information on it. There were some references to things like the Board of Health and Wetlands Conservation Commission. Some of those items needed to be changed and updated because certain things had been recently. So I worked with Mike O'Reilly, Chris Mayhew. Everybody reviewed it in great detail, and so the changes that we're proposing come about as a result of that. So that's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have any questions?
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is the I'm sorry, Peter, I might need a little help. How do I go back to just, Peter, can you hear me? Oh, stop share. There we go. Okay, so the second one is Article B, and that's got to do with the floodplain overlay district. And this again is a map requirement, and that comes about as a result of some guidance that the select board has received from FEMA and from the Department of Conservation and Recreation, Mass CER. I'm sorry, DCR. So we needed to update we've gotten some new panels for Dartmouth, some changes to the overlay protection district. Basically, some properties had been kind of taken out of the district, which is good. Peter's got the the map up here for you. There aren't many major changes to it. It's more just, again, it's something that we're required to do. Nope, this is the wrong map. I'm sorry. Let's see here. So again, this was brought on by FEMA, and we needed to make changes. As a result of making those changes, we needed to, we made some minor revisions to the bylaw in addition to the actual map change which has to occur. There are, as you can see over to the left-hand side of the map, there are a number of references to panels. So basically the town is divided into various panels, and some of the panels have been changed in 2020. This is important, like the first one, in that they have to be approved at town meetings prior to July in order, in this particular case, it's so that you can stay within the National Flood Plan Protection Insurance Program. So we need to have this done. This is a requirement. FEMA did send a follow-up letter last week saying that they still expect every city and town to go forward with the revisions. Again, it doesn't change any overall thing. The changes to the actual bylaw are just to clean it up, because there are a number of, there were some times in the past when either the map had been updated or the bylaw had been updated, but they didn't all work together. Again, I brought this before the various department heads and the fire chiefs in this particular case, so everybody reviewed it from their department standpoints when we put it all together. This one has also been approved by DCR. They have gone back and reviewed our whole bylaw to make sure that we weren't missing anything with requirements even from our old bylaw. So any changes that come about are the result of that one. Okay, the next change is Article C, and Article C is just changes to the signs article of the bylaw. These are just minor things. The bylaw was last updated in 2018. There were some typographical errors and grammatical errors, those type of things that had happened. So we thought that this was a good opportunity to bring this one forward. These are, again, just very minor revisions, does not change the intent of the bylaw in any way. Article D is the citizens petition, and that is a change. We have a citizens petition for a request to change one lot, map 56, lot 6, from single residence B to general residence. The applicants will be putting a presentation on this evening, or we'll be discussing it in great detail with the planning board later. Basically, the piece of this one that is kind of interesting is that if you look at the existing zoning map, the one parcel that they want to change to general business abuts the general business district. So that is why, one of the reasons why this particular thing works. It's kind of, the parcel in particular is in between State Road and 195. It's not very easily accessible. They do have a proposal that they will ultimately like to go forward if this gets approved. I don't know if there's anything else. Anybody has any questions with regard to that?
I have a question.
Where is it? Mr. Tattelbaum.
Question. The first three articles, would you really consider them to be basically housekeeping issues?
Well, the first two are of the utmost importance. If you don't do them, you're going to have problems with your state and federal.
Housekeeping in the sense that, excuse me, in the sense that we're just following the rules and it's just cleaning up issues that really have to be done.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, that is correct.
The first three.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and they're all brought by the planning board.
Right. Thank you. Okay.
The next one, like I said, is the select board, and then the last one is your particular Article E, and that's being sponsored by the select board, and that's for the would change the marijuana district. It would change the name of the marijuana district and allow for cultivation and manufacturing within the general business district. And obviously, you all know.
Are you in support of it?
That.
Is the planning board in support?
Well, the planning board will be discussing it tonight at their public hearing. They had in the past, they had at the last town meeting, they had brought forward something with regard to this. So unless there is a major change. But I do have to say, we have 2 members that did not sit the last time, that might be able to sit this time on it.
Okay.
So I don't know exactly how they're gonna go on it. I mean, in concept, the members that voted the last time were in favor of it.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
For me.
Mr. Herron, no? Mr. Gracie?
No.
Mr. McDonald?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, everything's good, thank you. Good luck with tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Yes, Could we just ask one
Thank
question
you.
of the planning board? So, Christine, so as we prepare the warrant and in light of the emergency order that's in place, Greg Barnes and I have been working on kind of paring down the warrant for this Springtown meeting. I just had a question on the signs articles. Is that something that needs to go forward in the spring, like the first 2 articles, or could that wait till the fall town meeting if it was necessary?
That could wait. That's already waited a couple of town meetings. Again, those issues were from before I was hired by the town even, so we could pull that one if you decide you want to.
Okay.
But A and B will go forward.
A and B have to go
Yes,
forward,
right,
or you will
right,
have
right.
major issues.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay, great.
John, question, what's your rationale to maybe postponing Article C?
No rationale other than, like I said, we don't know what's gonna happen with town meeting. So, if it get to a point where it was sort of an emergency town meeting, or, we're kind of watching the governor in this state of emergency, there's a bill in place that allows for an extension of a town meeting for 30 days if there's a state of emergency. There's also some other options where the moderator can continue the town meeting. So we just don't know what attendance would be like. So the things that are musts we want to have on a warrant, but we're still, we're playing it by ear and moving forward with the original warrant schedule. But any articles that could be pushed back to the fall, we'd like to do that.
So
Okay, thank you.
The timeframe, just to clarify, for the Article B for the floodplain, it has to be adopted prior to July 8th, okay?
Okay,
Is there any way we can look into, why they're saying July 8th and they won't give us the ability to go further than July 8th if town meetings have a problem? I think they would be understanding. I don't understand why a letter went out a couple of weeks ago stating that they were adhering to that July 8th deadline.
So the letter that I received from FEMA was sent to the select board, and we were copied on it. It just says, I commend you for your efforts that you put forth in implementing the floodplain management measures for the town of Dartmouth, Massachusetts, to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. As you implement these measures, I want to emphasize the following. The FIS, which is the Flood Insurance Study, and the Flood Insurance Rate Map firm will become effective on July 8th, 2020. It goes on to say, if you encounter major difficulties, you can let us know, but otherwise we anticipate that we expect you to go forward with it. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but, I don't know if there's some other way we could do it under emergency meeting, but basically what this flood insurance program means is anybody who's got a mortgage who has to carry flood insurance, they have to be in this program. If they're not in the program, they're at
I
dire.
can't see any reason why we can't just go forward with it. Why can't we just make sure we do it?
Well, I guess the only concern would be is if something happens with town meeting, but so we can reach out to them if there's a major thing. I wouldn't cancel town meeting, unless we're directed to cancel it. I would just move forward, even if it is just with those first 2 articles and nothing
Right.
else, to be honest with you.
we'll play it by ear. Right.
Does the select board have any other questions of the planning board?
I don't believe so, Ms. Miller.
No, I think it's it.
No? So, thank you very much for coming. Enjoy your meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Yeah, works out quite well.
Yeah, kidding.
You know, we can schedule a town meeting at any time, but that doesn't mean people are gonna show up.
Yeah,
I mean, part of the thing is, if there is a state of emergency declared by Massachusetts, and it delays town meeting, that's extenuating circumstances
Right.
that can be brought to FEMA.
Right.
You know, I mean,
I would think so. In this case, without a doubt.
When was that letter written? Did she give a date?
no, it
that
was-
was a while ago, quite some
Yeah.
time ago,
Yeah.
Okay,
before all
so-
this.
yeah, probably
It's a
pre-COVID.
few months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all set with that? New business, COVID-19 update, Mr. McGinnis.
Yes, so it's been a lot of status quo. Like I said last week in our update, the town services are back up to business as usual as much as possible, with the offices being actually closed. Staff are working remotely. Staff that deal generally with the public have been assigned to provide support to other departments like the Council on Aging. That's worked out fairly well. For their outreach program, because Amy at the Council on Aging has been working very hard at trying to reach out to all the seniors to check in on them, so that's been very successful. The Board of Health had updated some of the information, and they continue to do that kind of at their discretion. And other than that, we're just trying to maintain a safe environment for all involved. But this leads to the next item coming up.
Yes?
Is-
Right.
Mr. Chairman?
It's a good
is that-
segue, yes.
Is our meeting going on?
No, we're live. I'm watching it here. We're live.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
You're watching it YouTube?
Right here.
Yeah. All right,
Did you think you weren't here because?
so
you
this,
couldn't see the
again, will,
sofa?
this will lead into our next
It's getting ready for my best material.
new business. So FY '20 real estate tax due date change, COVID-19 outbreak. We have a notice from Governor Baker, filed emergency legislation allowing municipalities and Commonwealth to extend the fourth quarter FY '20 real estate tax date from May to June 1st by waiving any late payment penalties associated with this result of the COVID-19 outbreak. Mr. Carrero, sorry.
Well, Mr. Chairman, thanks, the board for having me tonight. Wish it was under different circumstances, but this is something that came through, I believe, at the end of March, emergency legislation that Governor Baker had signed to allow municipalities, amongst other things, to suspend real estate tax and prolong it until June 1st. In the memo I had sent to the chairman and to the board, I had recommended that we do, that's up until June 1st. I was recommending that we do up until May 15th, which allows us to then continue the process of collection. If we were to do that into June, my fear would be that we would run into some issues with the fiscal year end. It's up to the pleasure of the board. If they wanted that, we could move our schedule to accommodate that if the board feels that June 1st is a more proper date. I just would like to let the public know that we are there for them. Our office is still running. We are still collecting payments. And even if we were to decide on May 15th, we would be working one-on-one with the residents so that there wouldn't be any issues with them having any penalties. But if we do decide on any date, I will go ahead and publicize that in the paper and put it on our website so that folks know that we will waive the interest on whatever date the board feels fit.
Mr. Herron.
Could you explain how you'll be working one-on-one with the public?
Well, right now, we've got a load of phone calls. We're getting a lot of phone calls on the same topic. Also via email, we're dealing with. I've come in every so often during the day, and then I come in at night to answer emails. I have a lot of residents asking me why you're there till 8:30 at night. But I mean, we have to do it. They expect that from us. So it's mainly emails and through phone service right now. But if in fact the town hall was to, let's say, open between now and June, we would then have to have them in one-on-one, as we normally do, to work out any kind of delinquency that they would have. So the answer is basically through phone and email.
Mr. Gracie.
Yeah. Let's see. I personally have a preference for June 1st because that's what the information out in the media and everything else is saying. So I don't want us to run into a situation where it's May 15th, but people say, no, I thought it was June 1st. If we stuck with the June 1st as what the state is allowing, I think that would be easier for people. If that doesn't goof anything up, you know.
Well, it wouldn't really goof anything up. We're kind of going with a little bit of a guidance that other communities are going with. They've chosen May 15th. We could do June 1st. Legislation allows that. It would just have to, we would, in June, we would have to be a little more responsive to what we're doing, because we have to close the fiscal year end, as you know, June 30th.
Yeah.
So it might just take a little bit more effort, which is not a big deal, but if the board has the pleasure of June 1st, we could go with June 1st. And I just want to make it clear, we would have to let everyone know in town that they have the ability to pay to June 1st. We have to go in and logistically change the system to say the bills are now due June 1st, so
Yeah.
everyone has that ability to pay.
Yeah, we need to advertise it and
Correct.
DCTV and
Right.
and
Correct.
Dartmouth Week and
Sure.
Correct, which is.
whatever we decide on, I think.
Right.
is-
So
that would be
what are
the
you
plan.
comfortable with?
I recommended May 15th, just because of the timeline to the end of the fiscal year. If the board has the pleasure of June 1st, we can make June 1st happen for the residents. That's not an
Gives them a
issue.
little more time,
Correct,
but yet you're not gonna charge them the interest anyway.
correct.
So either way, whether it be the 15th of May or the 1st of June, if we do May 15th and they want to pay on June 1st?
Correct,
they
we
can
would
pay,
work it out with the resident, yeah,
With no fees?
right.
Okay. Right. Mr. Herron?
So it'd be no additional cost if they don't hit
Right.
May 15th?
Correct. If
They have
if-
up to June 1st.
Up until June 1st, that's what the legislation.
Right. Mr. Herron?
Will you incur another mailing cost because of this?
Well, we're not incurring a mailing cost because the bills are already out on the street. The bills are attached to they get mailed in December, and the 2 quarters are there. We would just have to really promote this through the paper and online to let people know that they have the ability to pay it. So we're gonna change our system. Whatever the date you pick, we'll change it to that date. So there'll be
No
if
matter
they
what.
mail it in whenever, before June 1st, it'll be no interest involved.
Mr. McDonald? Nope. Mr. Tattelbaum?
Well, I think that because it's also an issue related to the virus, not only all those other elements to educate people, but also on our daily or every other day reports by the town would be something important to residents. Between all those outlets, people would, including that one, we could get the word out pretty well.
Just another additional note that this is only for real estate tax. It does not include personal property, water, sewer bills, motor vehicle bills, because we are continually sending out those commitments to the public, so that we have timely revenue before the end of the fiscal year. It would just only be for real estate tax,
So
per
real
the,
estate.
per the emergency
make
order.
Everyone understand that, real estate taxes only,
Real estate only.
yes.
I think that the extra 15 days in calling it June rather than May sounds a lot more friendly. And if it's not too much to ask, it sounds like maybe at the end of that June, you'll have to put some people on it to get it done, more so than you would have ordinarily. I think it'd be a nice message to people, let them know that it would be a more friendly time, and it kind of marks just a different issue.
And we encourage anybody who would like to pay before that.
Absolutely.
We're already receiving payments.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
I would feel comfortable with June 1st if that's what the board.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll second Mr. Tattlebaum's motion there.
Did you make a motion?
I didn't, but I will.
So we have a motion to adopt the real estate tax due date to June 1st, 2020.
In a second.
And a second by Mr. Herron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So the real estate taxes will be due June 1st, 2020. Real estate only.
Real estate only.
And please send the checks early if you can.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Before you go, how close are we to doing quarterly billing on water and sewer?
So right now, we are working with our consultant, who's a Munis consultant, and we are working through some test billing right now, and working on a lot of the larger accounts. Since I've started, I've had quarterly meetings with the water department and my staff that deal with water and sewer bills. So we are close. My goal is by December to have a run of one section. What we plan on doing is want to have the whole town build it once. That is the goal. So what we'll need to do is, I used to work in a town where we converted from semi-annual to quarterly. What we want to do is take one section, do it as a trial run, and then we can incorporate the rest. So he's working out a lot of codes that that needs to be done right now in Munis. So I would hope by December, that is my goal, to get a quarterly, a section, at least one section done in town for quarterly water and sewer billing, and then move on to the entire town.
Is there any concerns or any kind of working going on with the larger accounts to go monthly? You know, because New Bedford does monthly water and sewer.
On the larger accounts?
Yes.
Are you referring to like UMass and?
Yeah.
And items like that?
Mhm.
I believe we're already, some of our larger accounts, we're already monthly. We're already monthly on those.
Okay.
But, so we've had that discussion with the water department, to also make them quarterly. We're trying to do everything in unison so that we don't have the town split up between quarterly and monthly and semi-annual. We want to have everybody on the same playing field. So we want to go quarterly with them. The only issue is, that's been brought up in our quarterly meetings that we have, is that having them budget. So how will UMass Dartmouth be able to budget 3 months' worth of water? Or the jail, 3 months' worth of water? Or the power company, 3 months' worth of water? So my goal is to have the entire town quarterly and not just leave some outliers there with the monthly. It's just more efficient to have everybody on the same system, same billing system.
Mr. McDonald, no? Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary.
Be safe. Mr. McDonald.
Before we move off the COVID-19,
Tattlebaum, yes.
I would just like to, in my movings around town and watching people and responding to what even our website is saying and doing, I think the town has done a really strong job consistently, and I see an awful lot of conformity to people doing the right thing around town. There's always going to be people who, a small fraction who don't, and I think it's important that we recognize that as a body here and know that we can't stop. We have to keep going and follow directions, and we do shorten the curve. And I think it's what people do and how they handle themselves is pretty commendable.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, Memorial Day Parade discussion.
Veterans Day.
I saw that. That's why I changed it.
The Veteran Service Officer. Matt Brier is supposed to be here. I told him to be here at 7, so hopefully he's coming in. But the Veterans Advisory Board is wondering what to do about their Memorial Day Parade. They have had some discussions about it, but they wanted to get this board's opinion on whether or not to have it or what the board's thoughts were. So no decisions need to be made. It was more just to have a discussion on whether it's something the town should pursue this year, or is it something that should be postponed, and they, more of like a rain date type of day where they do the wreath ceremony. They just don't do the actual parade marching.
So if you all remember, I don't know the exact year, but we had torrential rains from Memorial Day, and they canceled the parade, and with no other date. But the veterans, I can tell you, I was there with them. All the veterans were involved, and so we went to the bridge and put through the wreath over. We had the gun salute. We traveled to the cemetery and laid a wreath on the stone at the cemetery, and then we went to Old Town Hall, the old police station, and there's a stone plaque there, which we did the same thing. We put a wreath down, and we had the celebration, and we left. I believe, I don't want to speak for the veterans agent or the group, but that's a good option without jeopardizing a lot of people in very close-knit area. We're not going to be able to social distance if we have a parade. The other thing is you got to worry about what the school department wants to do about the band. They're going to be awfully too close too. So I don't know what they're going to do. We haven't heard back from them, but that's an option. The veteran agent and the committee might have another solution. But I think they're, I'll let them talk, but I think they're gonna have something on their own. So with that said, would you like to, Matthew?
Thank you, sir. Evening, gentlemen, how we doing?
Good.
Good. I didn't bring my mask, I apologize. So, me and Stanley spoke this morning, and as much as the office is for a parade, it's at what cost as far as, social distancing, and as far as my office, I've been planning it as, like we're gonna have it. So if we, all of a sudden, there's a miracle, we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
But as far as an alternate plan, I know in years past, on rainy days, they have done like a solemn procession to all the monuments, or not, rather, excuse me, to the bridge, to the cemetery, and to the old police station. Now, having no experience with that, I would have Chris come up and explain kind of how that would work. I've spoken with DCTV. They would not advertise that we're doing it, but they would have a film crew there to make sure that it was publicized for the public. So if you'd like to speak with Chris a little bit more about perhaps what the alternative plan would be. All right?
Yep.
Excuse me.
Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Thank you. Evening, gentlemen. Thanks for recognizing me. The Memorial Day Parade, as far as our Veterans Group is concerned, as Matt had mentioned, we're moving ahead as if it was, scheduled and going to proceed. If the select board or the town, decides that that's not the best, course of action, we'll, of course, respect that. And we'll have an alternate plan in place, which will most likely be a small ceremony at our Veterans Memorial Grove at the Council on Aging, at the Elm Street Cemetery, and then probably at the stadium with the new monument as well. And so they would be quick, 5-10 minute, ceremonies where we would invite, the community, anybody that would like to come. We'll, of course, publicize this. We'll get it out there. We'll let the select board know. We'll let the local media outlets know. We'll let on social media, and we'll let everybody know timing and exactly what's going to happen. That way, we're prepared in case there is a cancellation of the parade, and we're ready to still honor our veterans and the community as well.
And that'll be rain or shine.
That would be rain or shine. That's correct.
David.
I got a little different attitude about this, Chris. I think that I would take a different tack. What if we actually just scheduled the parade in June and had the whole event? Because I think that as a town event, it's a great event, period. Now this year more than ever, when the time is right and when health is right, no matter when we can do it, I think we should reschedule it. And whatever people can, but I think it could be a coming out parade for the town that has been in seclusion. And why not take advantage of it? And is that an issue? Have you discussed that at all? And what's your attitude about that?
Well, I like that idea, generally speaking. I'm thinking we could do both. So if the Memorial Day parade is canceled on Memorial Day, we could still, pay our respects and have those ceremonies. But then we could also look at having a parade at another date. To make that happen, I'd go in front of my board, let them know, kind of talk about that, look at different dates, and then we'd try to see if we could get some of the key players, if you will, involved and available for that, like the marching band and, those kinds of, stakeholders, if you will.
Would you consider moving the entire event, including all the recognition locations, move it all to another time and not just a parade in June?
It's a good question. Okay. I'll bring it up in front of the other board members and see what
opinion.
and see what they say. I think it's still important, even with everything that's going on, to still honor the fallen on that day. That's just my opinion. But we could do both. We could have our small, kind of private ceremonies, if you will, let the community know, and then we could also have a parade, because I do agree with you in that it's going to be, people are going to be anxious and can't wait to go in and celebrate the community and with everything that's been going on. So it would be nice to still have it, even if it can't be on that particular day.
Mr. Grace.
Yeah, let's see. My opinion would be that I think you should proceed with the plans to have the smaller celebrations, no matter what, on the right day, at the right time. I would keep the actual parade in your back pocket and proceed, but give us a drop-dead date on which we could make a final decision whether it's going to go, because we can't, we don't know what's gonna happen over the next month or so. But you don't wanna make that decision too late so that you can't proceed, but we don't wanna encourage that it's actually gonna happen if it's not gonna happen. So to me, the best way to do that is that you secretly continue to do that, plan for the other part of it, and, again, you let your board figure out what is the final date that before you would be able to, where it would still be time for you to go ahead and go forward. Let us know that, we can make that decision on the meeting closest to that, and you'll know. That's what I would suggest.
No, I think that's fair. Yeah, we could, I mean, that's pretty easy on our end. We can come up with, between the board members and
Yep.
Matt's office, we can talk about, hey, what's a realistic date that we could, work with and let you folks know that, hey, if you can let us know by this date for sure.
Right.
And we can still, proceed with the other alternatives.
And that way we'll have more data
Sure.
about the health and what's
We
going on.
have 2 select board meetings
At the same
before
time,
that, so.
excuse me.
Yeah,
At the
go ahead.
same time, also look at a alternative date now to what might work in June.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about, if we're thinking about June, maybe there's a way to tie it into Independence Day somehow, if we're gonna,
Great.
logistically, if
Sunday
we're gonna have a
before.
parade in June, somehow we can,
Yep.
tie it over into, just an idea.
Great.
Well, July 4th is a Saturday this year, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can do it the last Sunday, it would have to be a Sunday, because timing-wise, as far as those that are gonna be able to work,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And that's why maybe coinciding with already a national holiday that we can kind of piggyback
I
on.
mean, we haven't had a 4th of July parade in this area in a long time.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. That'd give us a little extra time, too.
Yeah, and the other thing is just what date right now is the deadline date set by the governor's advisory?
For the
For-
emergency,
Yeah,
May 4th, right?
May 4th. So we'll probably know more towards the end of April as to whether or not the governor's going to extend it. And if he is going to extend it, how long? And if he extends it another month, then, the Memorial Day parade is out.
And another thing about the 4th of July is that, Memorial Day parade, it's a solemn.
Right.
Where, maybe if it's, like I said, you can tie it into the 4th of July, it's, it's a celebration, where the town can come out, because, coming out for Memorial Day celebration is one thing, but if you can tie it in, like I said, to an actual, positive event as far as,
Mhm.
that's gonna be our first event to come out to,
Well, I mean, the way you can really tie it in is, even though, it's technically 2 separate events, the reason why we're able to celebrate July 4th is because of the people who we're honoring on Memorial Day, so. And it's just not the last war, it's everything down the line, since 1760, or whatever.
And also, if the school department had enough time to plan, they could, maybe we
Yeah.
wouldn't get the full assortment of the band, but they could have a good representation.
Well,
of the
that
band
was
as
my
well.
concern earlier
Yeah.
today. We didn't get an answer from the school department, but.
Well, we'll give them a lot of time to plan.
But the July 4th is a good idea, but we'll still have the Memorial Day celebration, no matter what. So,
Yeah, and candidly, we, behind the scenes, were kind of kicking around if the Memorial Day parade, was canceled. Hey, and we'd still like to have the parade, what days, would, and
sure.
we
Great.
certainly talked about Independence Day, so, yeah,
Good.
so we're
Fantastic.
on the same page there.
Wonderful.
So if the board would like, what I could do is talk to the board members and get their feel for a kind of a drop dead date, if you will, for the Memorial Day parade itself. We can continue planning for it. And in the meanwhile, we'll also continue to plan for the contingency plan for that day. And then also look at Independence Day as an alternative to the parade itself.
I think Sean makes a great point about May 4th, too, the governor's,
Yeah.
And
I
that's-
mean, that would work for us.
Yeah.
I mean, again, candidly, we could probably go all the way up until probably middle of May and be okay with planning, and whatever you guys think.
I think folks are really gonna wanna get involved.
Yep.
Do it on short notice just because they can get out, so.
Yep. fantastic.
It all depends on what the governor does, really, at this
Right.
point.
Very
Well,
nice.
My
So-
Nice
feeling is he'll
going,
probably he'll probably extend it to the end of the month. But the other thing to consider is even when the curfew, if you will, is over, that doesn't people are gonna immediately on the next
Run
day
out.
start responding back to normal, that everybody's gonna be cautious.
You know that's
so-
not gonna happen. Yeah. Strange times we live in.
Yes.
I
Thank
think
you
the
very
Memorial
much.
Day parade's in good hands.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Be safe.
Fantastic.
So, proud to announce a modular units purchase and sale agreement that we need to sign tonight.
Oh, I have to say.
Would you like to go over it? 9 units, right?
Everyone needs to sign it. So yes, this is, as we went over previously, this is a sale of the police modular unit buildings. Yeah, I think there's 9 of them, we have them listed here, to the town of Rehoboth. There was some back and forth, some negotiation. They're gonna use it for their own police station. They've been trying to acquire a police station on their own for a number of years. Their police force is a little smaller than ours, so they feel like this is a very good fit for them right now, and they are really looking forward to purchasing the units and taking them over and installing them in Rehoboth and moving forward with it.
Mr. McDonald, I'll let you.
Announce the sum that
Oh, the selling price was $225,000.
Once again, please.
$225,000.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah,
That's it.
nice.
I think that was kind of important
Cat-
to let everybody.
In one lump sum. There's no payment plans.
Make a motion to sign the agreement.
Second that
We have a motion to sign and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? We will sign that agreement gleefully.
It's a fitting final chapter to our own police station.
Yes, isn't it?
Because I do recall in our finance committee that we hoped that if we could ever get back 25% of the value of those buildings, it would be great, and we did.
Well, it's a good thing. Timing is everything.
It is.
It wouldn't have happened if it went any longer.
I think the building committee for the Rehoboth Police Department is probably gonna dissolve at this point for a while.
All right, potential meeting dates through town election.
Yes, so generally we have, after the town election, we create new meeting dates to go through the rest of the year. I think in light of the fact that we've pushed back the town election, I just wanted to propose some dates to get through July. So these are the proposed dates. May 4th and 11th are somewhat mandatory if this board can make them, just because it coincides with the town meeting preparation calendar. And then the other meetings, you know, they are certainly up for the board's discussion.
Pleasure of the board.
I'm in favor.
So it's almost 4 weeks between May 11th and June 8th, correct?
Yes, well, there's a holiday in there.
Right.
We could meet, originally I had it for the, I'm gonna say the 25th, but because we're meeting on the 4th and the 11th, the 18th, so there's the 4th, the 11th, the 18th. I think the 25th is, 25th is Memorial Day. So it was the 4th, 11th, and the 18th.
And then,
It was the 4th and the 18th, but because of this, you know, we got pushed back a little bit with this COVID and preparation for a town meeting and a warrant, we had to make it the 11th,
We
the 4th
consider
and the 11th.
meeting on the 26th of Tuesday. I think it is a long stretch between.
Oh, to have it on a Tuesday? Yeah.
Well, I think it's a long stretch to go without a meeting.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, town meeting,
It's scheduled for when?
is still scheduled for the 2nd.
Following
So
Tuesday.
you could do June 1st.
June 1st.
well, you have the 4th and the 11th that we have to do. And then, didn't we talk about the 18th?
That was the date.
But that's 3, the week after that is Memorial Day, correct?
Right.
So we could do the June 1st, and then if there's town meeting, you
think
can cancel it.
Well, can we meet after Memorial Day? Is it possible to meet on a Tuesday?
That-
Yes.
That's what I said.
I mean, just for the mere fact, because I don't want to go 4 weeks. Generally, we can go 3,
Yeah,
you know, 4 is kind of tough. I mean, not to say that, you know, I mean,
Well, there's the 18th, if you still want to
I
schedule.
would,
then that gives us 3 meetings in a row.
I would consider that,
I would consider the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
I would consider the Tuesday, the 26th, or if town meeting's canceled, go to the 1st of June.
Right.
Okay, so we'll do, May 26th.
Mhm.
And then as we get closer, if town meeting's gonna be canceled, we can talk about moving that to the 1st.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
so
I'd be
we got
comfortable with
The
that.
4th, the 11th, the 26th of May, right?
Yes.
So that's 3 meetings in May, as you were
Well,
saying.
the only, yeah, but it's, at least the last two are spared, are,
Okay,
this
and then
is,
June 1st? And June-
only if town meeting are canceled.
And then
Then we
June
can move
8th,
the 26th to the 1st.
so June 8th, 22nd, July 13th, July 27th. All right,
What are the dates in June?
we've got June
Well,
1st.
Right now, it would be, no, right now, it would be June 8th and June 22nd. Those would be, right now.
Okay.
If town meeting gets canceled, then it would be June 1st instead of May 26th.
Yep.
And then I think you could possibly switch those other dates around, where you can go June 15th and then June 29th, and then July 13th. You're still staying on every other week.
No,
You got that, Tom?
Yeah, I got it.
Because you're gonna have to send that out to us.
Well, no, I mean,
Tentative.
that's
Oh,
tentative.
yes, of course.
That's
Yeah,
tentative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And will these meetings be
well, I take
remote?
it
Set
that
up.
That May 4th date's gonna pretty much tell us about town meeting anyway.
Right, we'll know that Monday night.
Chance
We'll
is
know before that.
Slim, have it on the 2nd.
Yeah, we'll know before that.
I think Frank's point is, no one's gonna, even though the date comes up and the governor releases, people aren't gonna run. to-
Right, and you can't do town meeting by Zoom,
No.
because you won't, everybody, whatever television screen you're looking at, it's gonna be a postage stamp.
So
I
you
will
you
only say
also
that
have,
there's legislation in the works to do just that.
Yeah, I know.
so wait a minute, so we have, we also have the vote on the 23rd of June,
Right.
right? The important vote?
Election, yes.
Yes, the election.
Mr. Chairman, is
Yes.
there any talk from the governor's office about possibly allowing us to reduce the number for quorum required for town meeting due to the,
I didn't see that, I didn't read that.
curious,
I don't believe
Haven't
there was
heard
any
that.
language like that, but it might be worth sending a message, ask a question, see what happens.
it's gonna be, as you said, Sean, it's gonna be tough for people to.
Yeah,
I mean, it's tough when we don't have a crisis.
I know for some of the.
I mean, let's
some
put
of
it
the
this way, it wouldn't be the first time a legislative body in this state doesn't okay a budget, before July 1st. I mean, the
True.
State House does it all the time.
Yeah, we don't like to operate it that way.
So,
But,
I mean,
It's a bad habit, but it could be done.
yeah, exactly.
Right now, a lot of the dates that they've allowed to be moved are based on a state of emergency being in place.
Right.
So if that's lifted, then, there's not a lot.
everything changes, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you'll get those dates out to all of us?
Yes.
Again, you've got the vote on the 23rd of June also.
Could you send it out in a doc file so that it can be edited when things change?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do you want it in Word or Excel?
Word.
Okay.
Word, please.
All right. Electric aggregation contract approval.
This is just, as you know, the town has an electric aggregation contract with 22 other communities, or 21 other communities. That contract is up for negotiation, or up for rebidding, I should say, not negotiation. So it's going to be rebid, so we've been working with Good Energy, who is the, not the provider, but they've been the manager of the contract. This is really only to have a discussion about the, bid solicitation is set for April 21st. This board just needs to vote to have a bid day representative and a primary and an alternate. That would be myself and Greg Barnes, the budget director. Some of the things that have come up, there's some emails going out, is there's 3 choices with the energy aggregation. So by default, all energy customers in the town are part of this energy aggregation. It's been a significant savings for the residents the last 3 years.
Even though somebody changed their mind and we had to redo it.
Yes, there was still significant savings,
Yes.
correct. but basically it comes down to there's three choices. One is a default, so the basic product is a default, and that basic product does not have any renewable energy sources within it. The big push in the drive now with many of the towns, 90% are going into the green standard product, which mandates a minimum 10% renewable energy as part of that. The thinking is, and it has been historically, but now with the new contract, that the increase to the rate is modest, if any. It's very, very small. And then the third product is the resident gets to decide how much of the green option they can have with their electric sourcing. So they could say 50%, 100%, but their rate would go up as part of that. So this is really, and they have those choices regardless. This is just really saying what's the town's default choice going to be? Is it going to be the basic, the green standard, which is 10% renewable, or the green optional products, which I don't think we choose that for our default, but because that allows people to choose between 50 and 100%.
Will we get, when this goes out to bid, we will get the pricing on the default and then the 10%?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we should
Now I
really,
just have to ask one question. I know the homeowners have the option to do the 50% and whatever. How is that possible through the transmission lines? How do they send 50% green energy through all these wires that are throughout the entire area and target the one house that chooses 50% and the neighbor next to him is on default and maybe the next to them is 10%? Is there some kind of a filter that says only 50% goes here? I don't see that. All that I see this is a pricing scam.
Well, you're supporting,
Well, we
they
should-
are supporting renewable energy.
I understand that. I understand that. But it's like water delivery. 3 houses. This guy's gonna get tap water. This guy's getting water from Maine, and then this guy's getting water from
France.
France. There you go, France. And the driver comes in, pulls the bottle from France, gives it to him, pulls the bottle from Maine, gives it to him, and pulls the bottle from the tap, gives it to him. How does that happen with electricity? I just think that this is just it's a pricing scam. You know, I just don't see it. I mean, it might make the homeowner feel good that I'm only doing 50%, and I think that's great. But you don't see it. It's the same electricity that's going through the whole thing.
Yeah, but it depends on how it's generated. My guess is that the percentage of people that would want one versus the other, that's what you pay. And that's the percentage of green energy they would get and put into the grid. And yes, the electrons are all rubbing elbows with everybody else, but the percentage of what they want is in the grid, and that's what they pay to put it there. If people don't want any green energy, then that's easier, obviously. If you want green energy, you'll pay a higher amount, and they will get some of that from a different supplier, but it still goes into the same grid.
Right.
well, we still.
So you could be paying for it, and I could be getting that green energy.
Well, yeah.
I think what it comes down to is that with renewable energy, it costs a little bit more money right now to produce. So
Right.
you're saying, I want to subsidize the renewable energy companies because it costs a little bit more to produce the electricity.
And I think we should.
Yeah, and
We're-
as a town, that percentage is still valid.
We're a green
It's just not going
community.
to the specific house, as you mentioned, that, you know, but as a town, it comes into the town as renewable energy.
All I can relate this is a 3-card Monte. Just basically.
Well, we're a
Like
green
most
community
utilities,
again.
they're shell games anyway, yeah.
Exactly, it's a shell game.
What would we hear
Find
if
the
we,
ball.
what would we hear if we asked for an explanation? What would they say to us? We asked-
Well, there are a lot of people.
I mean,
in-
I agree with the concept. I think it's a wonderful thing. I just, you're not paying for, you're not getting what you pay for. You're paying into a program that somehow everybody shares into the program. And it's just, I don't know, this.
But again, the town is involved in the
Right,
program.
right, I understand that. It's just,
We should be committed to the green energy, and we're a green community, and I think it's a great
So
opportunity.
we're moving towards giving people a second and third choice.
Yeah,
They've always had these three choices.
Mhm.
One is by the default that's given,
Right.
because all the households in the community are in this energy aggregation contract by default. And there's three choices of which contract they want to be under, and by default, it's been the basic. And, this board can choose to have the default be the 10% renewable energy.
I think the default should still be the basic, because there are some people in this community that would like the extra savings, and then anybody else can just choose whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to pick tonight, but I just
Yeah,
want to,
okay.
we do have to, you do have to vote to have myself and Greg Barnes as the bid day representatives coming up in April.
April?
That's the bid solicitation is April 21st.
Next April?
This April,
Oh, this April.
21st,
This
Oh,
month.
so this month?
this month, yeah.
Oh,
okay. So we need a,
But the only thing I would add to that, Frank, I mean, we are a green community, which does require us to do things differently than maybe giving that default choice.
but why force people to pay more for electricity than they can
Well,
afford or
but-
want?
Because we are a green community.
But that doesn't mean you force people to do something they don't believe in.
Well,
If people want to support the green community, they can pay extra and they can be part of it
Mhm.
and feel good about it. But there are some people that may need to save the extra money.
As long as there's a clear
so,
explanation.
so wait a minute. Will we have any numbers at some point, the costs?
Yes.
One for the default, one for 10%, or, can we, when we meet again, can we have that?
No, we won't have it until, I'm looking at the calendar here.
All right.
So,
May 4th, probably.
April 21st is bid day.
Okay,
So that's when the bids are due, and
Uh-huh.
then they'll be evaluated, so it's gonna be into May before we
All
know
right,
what
yeah.
the rates are gonna be.
so
what-
at least
what-
we'll know what the costs are. Is that fine? So we need to vote, we need to vote to
No.
have the two representatives.
We do?
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
bid
make
day
a motion that
representatives.
we have Sean McInnes and Greg Barnes represent the town in
Second.
the aggregate bid.
We vote for Sean McGinnis and Greg Barnes to be our representatives for the aggregation contract. And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, none? Done. All right, Serped Commission member appointment, I think we already have somebody.
Yes, Deb Wender is the current appointment of the board on the Serpent Committee. She's served on there, so this is just to renew her appointment.
So moved.
Good thing she's not retiring.
I know, huh?
We'd have to pick somebody else. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, none? Thank you.
I think it's also, as we do this 10-year master plan with Serped involved, I think that becomes an even more and more important position,
Mm.
and a lot more activity.
And lots will go through Serped as we move forward,
Exactly,
too.
well, they're directing the study.
Yeah. Reappointment of Richard Manise, Constable, 3-year appointment pending police chief's approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have an approval and a second for Mr. Manise. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Thank you, Mr. Manise. Old business, Bliss Corner.
Before we go through old business, which meeting in May are we meeting with the Finance Committee? 4th or the 11th?
Hold on, let me pull up the calendar right now.
That was, I think it's the 4th I had.
Sorry, let's see, the 4th.
Okay, thank you.
And that's gonna be not non-resident, I mean, not in this room, right? Because there's too many people.
No, they're gonna be.
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom.
They're doing a Zoom.
Okay.
We'll be back
Zuma,
here, you
Zuma.
think?
We'll
Or
be
we'll
here.
be on,
No, we were going.
both of us
We'll
on
be here.
Zoom, no?
They'll be via
Maybe, yeah.
Zoom.
I thought this was our last meeting here.
Yeah.
Isn't?
Well,
we're-
we
we're
had
doing
discussed
Zoom?
the last meeting trying the Zoom for
Okay.
April 27th.
The next
Okay.
meeting, right.
That's the next
right.
Give it a shot.
And there,
I'll be at the office.
Well, we need some time to set up for that and understand how to use it.
We'll do a practice run, and we have, DCTV has been great, they have great instructions, that they've used for the other boards, so we can plan on doing a dry run for
It's very
an
easy.
hour not even an hour, like 15, 20 minutes just to get everyone logged in. And
Just need Wi-Fi, it's terrific,
Is the
really.
software available for both tablets and Chromebooks?
yes, it's for everything, yes.
Okay. Because I thought my laptop had a camera, but it doesn't.
Oh.
This has it, Kim, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, okay, old business. Bliss Corner update,
No new updates.
new building construction updates.
No new updates there.
How's the library doing?
Good. The floor is just about complete.
Mhm.
They were going out to inspect it last week. I haven't heard, so no news is good news.
Oh, great. Great.
And I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's it for the
Alright.
new buildings. Cecil
And-
Smith, no new updates. Lake
Cecil
Nokichoke, no new updates. The fishing pier, we heard back from the Division of Marine Fisheries. They've doing one last pass on the agreement. They're going to send it over. So
Great.
hopefully we'll
That's
have
good
for the
to
next
hear.
meeting.
All right. So, minutes on March 18th, 2000.
Excuse me a minute. On the fishing pier, did we decide where the copay is gonna come from since last meeting?
The fishing pier.
No, that was
no,
the-
that was
that
the
was different.
Dias
Oh, I'm
Landing.
sorry, the copay for the grant. Well, let me ask it, yeah.
Yeah, it's got a FinCom reserve fund, and then we'll have an article at town meeting to
Did they approve
appropriate
it?
the money.
Because they've been a little resistant to spend any money at all. That's why I'm asking.
No, we had a meeting
They
Thursday.
met-
They didn't
met
vote
the
on
other
that.
day,
No.
Last week.
They still have time to vote. So they'll vote on the article when they review all the articles.
Okay, minutes, March 18th, 2020.
They look good, so make a motion to accept.
We have a motion to
Second.
accept and a second. All those in favor accepting March 18th, 2020 minutes?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Minutes are accepted. Any other information before we adjourn?
I have a question on this, the mobile home, the police station,
Module units.
module, it lists names for the chair and the vice chair.
On the second sheet, there's other sign.
You want us all to sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
told you.
Frank,
They would have put the 5 lines there if they didn't want 5 signatures.
how did I catch it?
All right, so before we adjourn, our next meeting will be in the comfort of our own homes via Zoom on April 27th.
Well, it'll be
John,
via video. It'll be video chat
Yeah,
in some form.
yeah. It'll be on YouTube, right?
Should be.
Yeah. Okay, so we need to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn, and a second. All those in favor?
aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Meeting is adjourned.